Across the border, the federal government is open again today. That's after the House passed the stopgap funding bill last night, and the president signed it shortly after that. The historic government shutdown finally ending in its 43rd day. Now state officials are working to restore full SNAP benefits to millions of people. Meanwhile, airlines are optimistic about a quick recovery ahead of Thanksgiving.
I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness. But unfortunately, the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer, too.
Last night, U.S. President Donald Trump signed a funding package that ended the longest federal government shutdown in history. His signature came hours after the House voted to approve the measure. It keeps the government running through January and funds some key agencies through 2026. Money will soon start flowing to government workers and food assistance recipients. Federal employees who were furloughed during the 43-day long standoff will also go back to work starting Thursday.
We feel very relieved tonight. The Democrat shutdown is finally over thanks to House and Senate Republicans who stood together to get the job done.
People are hurting out there. I mean, they're getting hit with costs. Their parents trying to raise kids. Farmers being hit. I mean, this is not over by any means.
The package was made possible by centrist Democrats in the Senate who broke from their party. In doing so, they gave up the strongest negotiating power they have to extend health care subsidies that expire at the end of the year. Now that issue will be voted on separately. According to reports, it's unlikely to succeed, sparking fears many Americans will see their health care premiums skyrocket next year. Democrats vow to keep fighting to lower health costs, but the House Speaker says he wants reforms first.
So you could argue that while the Democrats didn't get the thing that they were putting at the top of their their wish list for the shutdown, they didn't get that. They did get other things, but this is where there's the difference between accomplishment and narrative. At this moment, the narrative is running that Democrats folded and therefore they lost the shutdown. What will be interesting, and this is always interesting in following politics, is narratives change. The news cycle moves on. Somebody thinks up a different set of talking points. The Democrats figure out a way to sell this as a victory.
Airlines are optimistic they can resume normal operations within a few days once the government lifts its order to cut some flights at 40 busy airports. But it's not clear how quickly that will happen, even though the shutdown is over.
I think people are willing to put up with a little inconvenience, but we don't want to jeopardize the lives of people. And I think the nation was starting to be worried about that. We can't, when you have less staff or less pilots or less air traffic controllers, there's a chance for something to happen. So knock on wood, I'm glad that hasn't happened, and hopefully things can resume.
I'm really happy about that for the people that are traveling for the holidays, At least that takes it off their plate worrying about getting there or getting home, hopefully.
Meanwhile, the Agriculture Secretary said they hope to get most people their SNAP benefits by the end of the week, and at the very latest, Monday. She said her department began work Wednesday night once the government reopened to issue full food stamps benefits for November. More than 40 million Americans were left in limbo when the Department of Agriculture could not distribute food stamps for November. Meanwhile, when it comes to other services,
the services that the government provides are now 6 weeks essentially behind schedule, and some of that productivity might never get recovered. Obviously, some of the more direct impacts were, air traffic controllers, canceled flights, delayed flights. That will clean up relatively quickly. That's the kind of thing, those are really the short-term impacts.